Welcome to this grand forum today, and I'm very pleased to meet all of you and welcome again. To this forum. As one of the host organizers of this event, I'm very pleased and honored. Yeah, I'm Professor Yonsei Park from Yonsei University, and I'm the director of Yonsei Institute of East and West Studies. And as one of the host organizers of this event, I'm honored and privileged to begin with today's mega forum titled Dialogue Between Korea and India on Public Diplomacy. This forum has been initiated and sponsored by MOFA Korea. So I'd like to recognize and appreciate their full support today. And I also like to thank to Professor Kesavan, who has been diligently working with me to arrange many things on the Indian side. And we have many distinguished guests today, including Her Excellency, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Ambassador of Public Diplomacy of Korea, Madame Enna Park, and she'll be the keynote speaker today. And His Excellency, Korean Ambassador to India, Dr. Bongkil Shin, and the Chairman of ORF, Dr. Sunjoy Josh. And Ambassador Shin and Chairman Josh will speak congratulatory remark after me. To our great honor, we have 4 former ambassadors of India today. They are Mr. Skantayal, Mr. Seshadri, and Mr. Pinak Chakrabarti. Actually, I don't know the face, but I know by the name. And Mr. I'm sorry. Prakash. Yeah, Mr. Prakash. Yeah, because I see. Yeah, I didn't see your face. And of course, we have the prominent scholars who will be presenting today, and they are Professor Yong Park, and we are back from Yonsei University, and Dr. Jiun Kim from Asan Institute of Police Studies, and Dr. Panda, where are you? Yeah, Panda from IDSA, and Professor Banu Murthy. Oh, you're sitting, okay, nice to meet you. Banu Murthy from Delhi Technological University, and Professor Byung-won Woo from Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. And in addition, we have Managing Director Han-Soo Park from Kotra, okay, and we have Professor Jiwan Hwang from University of Seoul, and Professor Jayanti Raghavan. Where are you? Oh, sitting back. Okay, thank you. From JNU. So, and they will be participating as discussants. Okay. Today, the theme of today's forum is developing peace and prosperity between Korea and India as strategic partners. And as you may know already, after the summit talk between US and North Korea, these days almost all media is paying attention exclusively on North Korea. But we educated people, the Korean educated people know the importance, the significance of Indo-Pacific strategy for us. So today we will have a chance to examine President Moon's new Southern policy in line with Prime Minister Modi's Act East policy. So as a result, we wish to see more of a coordinated policy sharing when the 2 summits meet next month. Okay. And in terms of international economic transactions, there has been the trade volume has doubled since we signed contract SEPA agreement between India and Korea in 2010. I think there is lots of room to improve. And our third topic, the public diplomacy, which must be the keen interest of today's sponsor, MOFA Korea. They emphasize people-to-people interaction. So we need to, through various activities and policy sharing, we need to interact more often, and we need to get to know each other better, and we need to become friends so that our international relationships and our business development between two countries may become more effective and bear fruits in the coming years. Of course, all the presenters and participants and the discussants will discuss all these issues, address all these issues more in detail throughout the day. This is our fourth annual dialogue between Yonsei IEWS and ORF. So our past efforts gave birth to this mega event, mega forum, and I hope this forum will lay another stepping stone so that will lead to our mutual understanding and our continuous future collaboration. So I wish you all enjoy today's session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Yong-Sung Park. We value this relationship we've had for some time now with the Yonsei University. You have been a long-standing partner. So thank you so much for hosting this with the help of MOFA and with us in the Observer Research Foundation. Excellency Ambassador Enna Park, welcome home. This is, Delhi belongs to you really. You're familiar with Delhi. You've served in New Delhi. And people in India regard you as an old friend. So I would say welcome home. And you are the right person to start this dialogue in New Delhi today. And Ambassador Shin Bongkil, you have been so proactive in this, pushing this partnership all along. We know that in the South Korean embassy, we've always had a friend, and we have been talking of a lot of things which we would be doing together in the coming months. Excellencies all gathered here, welcome to this discussion on the Korea-India strategic partnership. I mean, India and Korea's historical and cultural relations, as many of you would know, run very, very deep. In fact, they are 2 millennia deep. It was, I think, in the year 50 AD, sometime around that Princess Suriratna, and this is what the Samgyungyungsa says about the chronicle, that how the princess traveled to Korea to marry the king. And this is the heritage history of the three kingdoms. That is where this is all chronicled. And she married King Kim Soo-ro to become Queen Yellow Jade, Queen Hyo Hwang-ok of the Gaya kingdom. And this dynasty actually ruled for almost 5 centuries. So most of the Kims of Korea take the descent from this history. So that is the deepness of the roots, the folklore and the tradition there is. Then, of course, you have the Buddhist monk, Hong Yao, who visited India in the 8th century, and I think left one of the richest chronicles of Indian culture, Indian traditions, in his book, Pilgrimage to the 5 Kingdoms of India. India then was as diverse as it is today. And then let us not forget 1929, at the time when Korea was under the thrall of a brutish colonial regime that was intent on decimating its culture and heritage. At that time, Rabindranath Tagore wrote a poem called The Lamp of the East, which today actually sounds so prescient, the lines of that poem, and I'll quote them for you. It says, "In the golden age of Asia, Korea was one of its lamp bearers, and that lamp is waiting to be lit once again for the illumination of the East." And you can see how prescient those lines were as they were written in 1929. The 20th century actually saw South Korea emerge as a technological and economic power with a per capita income that put it in the ranks of the richest countries of the world. And today, after the 1990s, you found the millennial generation, first beginning with Southeast Asia and East Asia, completely captivated by the spread of K-dramas and K-pop across East, Southeast Asia, and the Korean wave today is become a global phenomenon on the internet. And Bollywood, I think, is being given a run for its money as far as popularity goes. So truly, as the Indian Nobel laureate spoke, here we are in the Asian century. And in the Asian century, we are seeing South Korea take on the mantle of a very quiet, very understated leadership, but also very, very effective. In a world which only last year seemed to have been completely overtaken by threats and bluster, we see the narrative completely reversed. We are again talking of diplomacy for peace. We are talking of summits. We are talking of engagement. And we are seeing hope of peace return not just to the Korean Peninsula, but to the larger region, which is the Indo-Pacific and the world. So that is significance of what South Korea has done in the last 1 year. Now, President Moon's Southern policy, therefore, I would say, is a logical corollary to the peace initiatives that he's launched. And with that, we foresee the relationship between India and Korea, South Korea, flower and spread into multiple new dimensions. The fact is that India and Republic of Korea engagements have witnessed very significant milestones in the past few years. The economic and strategic relationship has been converging on a wide range of subjects, whether it is regional peace and integration, whether it is nuclear non-proliferation, counterterrorism, energy cooperation, maritime security. All these are areas where we're seeing a strong convergence of interests. The point is, both as vibrant democracies are interested in ensuring an open, balanced, inclusive, and rules-based security architecture in the region. We want to work together for peace. And we share a common commitment to the need for maintaining the freedom of navigation and unimpaired commerce in the high seas. We are in an uncertain world. Today, it is not just multilateral arrangements which are failing, but even close groups such as the G7, which were forged to cement the international trade order, they seem to lack the consensus or the will to push the agenda anymore. So in this situation, it has to be Asian powers, such as South Korea and India, who have greater reason to step out and take the destiny of this continent into their own hands. The inherent synergy between President Moon's southward policy and India's Act East policy is only too obvious to be stated. There is a strong convergence of the strategic and economic interests of India and South Korea in the Indo-Pacific region. Both sides are interested, as I said, in developing a rules-based architecture across the world. In 2010, both countries had agreed to forge a strategic partnership, which was followed by the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement in 2011. That has yet to reach its potential, but I would say that sky is the limit as far as the potential volume of trade and investments under this agreement goes. Over the next 8 years, as India grows from a $2.5 trillion economy to $8 trillion economy, it also looks expectantly at the partnership in which South Korea has a far greater role in helping develop the infrastructure that will come with and shape this growth. This includes not just its ports, shipping, roads, but also the digital highways, the connectivity so vital to the new commerce and to the fourth industrial revolution, and vital to our Make in India program. Now, Korean industry always has made its mark ever since the time of liberalization. In India, today, Samsung, LG, Hyundai, all are household names. Everybody knows about them. Everybody knows South Korea through its companies. But now as India prepares for a more expansive economy, the time for Korean businesses to create the same buzz in other sectors has come. Now, Korea is a global player in the shipbuilding industry. India hopes to do a lot of work in expanding its infrastructure in that area, whether it is coastal shipping or even as it enters into the business of LNG carriers, whether it's big, small, and medium size. There are a lot of potential opportunities waiting to expand it here. And no wonder, that is why we see, very recently when you had the Maritime Summit in Mumbai, South Korea was the partner, the chosen partner for the summit. Then defense and civil nuclear cooperation present other areas that promise brighter prospects for collaboration. And yes, our bilateral relationship stands upgraded to a special strategic partnership. And we are having dialogues at various levels very, very, very regularly. There are various ministerial level dialogues. And besides that, also think tanks such as us have been engaging repeatedly with organizations in South Korea. So to conclude, all I'll say is that India and South Korea remain two steadfastly democratic countries invested in working towards a regional order that is peaceful, open, inclusive, rule-based, and free from any single country's dominance. An order that works for all. It is within this framework that we together wish to discover the path for promoting greater regional integration, strengthening maritime security, and working together in all these areas. And as both sides eagerly await President Moon Jae-in's visit in mid-July, President Moon has already made a mark for his decisive diplomacy, and India, yes, is a vital pivot in its southbound policy. We may be witness to a world in disarray, but that also implies that we are party to the forging of the new emerging world order. An order whose center of gravity has been steadily reclaiming the old and ancient geoeconomic spaces by shifting decisively eastward. A lot of the script for the power play that is going to accompany this change is yet to be written. Some of it is being written right before our eyes, but a whole lot of it is yet to be written. I would say we are still in the first act of this play. There are many other acts to follow. And it is engagements like these, which are being pushed by MOFA, that will help us talk about many of these issues. So I look forward to these deliberations today and hope to learn a lot from them. Thank you. And with that, I'd invite Ambassador Shin Bongkil to please give his remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first would like to thank ORF, this important think tank, always a good partner of our embassy and Korea. And I also would like to thank Yonsei, one of the most prominent university in Korea. And actually it provided me the shelter when I was temporarily unemployed after retirement. I taught 2 years in Yonsei Graduate School of International Studies. As far as I understand, public diplomacy is a business of connecting and engaging the people's mind of India and Korea. And when President Moon Jae-in gave me his credential, and he asked me to specifically try to get the mind of the Indian people. It's not an easy one, actually. And if anybody who has a very good idea about how to get the mind of the 1.3 billion people in India, please give me a good advice. As I said, that public diplomacy is all about engaging and communicating with two people. I think the most important thing is to find out what's the connecting point between the two. As already Chairman Joshi has said, if we look back in history, we can find many instances of close connections between our two people. As Chairman said, there is a legend which finds a mention in a history book, 삼국유사, or the heritage history of the three kingdoms, that a princess from Ayodhya came to Korea and married King Kim-suro in the year 48 AD. While scholars and historians in Korea continue to debate whether it is myth or reality, there are more and more Koreans who believe in it to be a fact and their lineage to the Ayodhya princess and see India as their ancestral home. When Prime Minister Modi the last time visited in Korea, it was 2015, he said 10% of Korean population are actually the relatives of India. I don't know it's a myth or reality, but anyway, this political symbolism is very important. Similarly, Buddhism was introduced in Korea through China in the 4th century. With the introduction of Buddhism, Korean Buddhist monks, already Chairman Joshi also mentioned about it, began to visit India, the birthplace of Buddhism. The most famous of them was Hecho, a Silla kingdom monk who traveled to India during the 8th century. He toured mostly to sacred Buddhist sites in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Hecho wrote an account of his journey called Wang-o Chonchukgukjeon, or Memoir of the Pilgrimage to the 5 Kingdoms of India, which were discovered in the famous library cave at the desert temple complex of Dunhuang in China. Also, actually, I prepared a couple of historical evidences of connection, but you stole my preparation. Already you talked. I may emphasize again. In 1929, Indian Nobel laureate Tagore composed a short poem, Lamp of the East, where he called Korea a lamp bearer which illuminates the East. Tagore wrote this poem when Koreans were suffering from low self-esteem under repressive Japanese colonial rule. The poem gave Koreans a lot of encouragement, hope, and galvanized the nation into throwing the yoke of colonialism. In the 20th century, India played an important role in founding of our republic. India was the chairman of the UN Commission, which successfully held the general elections in 1948. That led to the establishment of the Republic of Korea on 15th August 1948. Actually, Korea and India celebrate the Independence Day on the same day, that is 15th of August every year. This is unique to our relations. When the Korean War broke out in 1950, India was one of the 21 countries that joined the international effort for establishment of peace on the Korean Peninsula. India sent its medical contingent. And also India dispatched over 6,000 custodian force to Korea, to Geoje Island, where the present Korean President Moon Jae-in was born during the time of Korean War. And India accepted around 80 POWs, prisoners of war who didn't wish to be repatriated to either of Koreas. So as you can see, we enter the present-day relations with such shining legacies of close cooperation in the past. So the task of Korean public diplomacy in India in the present time is to familiarize our two people of how they are connected with each other through the ties of kinship and spirituality. to re-establish the lost emotional connect between our two people. We need to build the present and future of our relations on the foundation of our vibrant past. With these remarks, I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Excellency, for those remarks. And now we move to the keynote address. May I invite Ambassador Excellency Enna Park to tell us about this program and what she thinks in the light of the forthcoming visit of President Moon Jae-in as to where we are moving from here.
Thank you. Honorable Mr. Sunjoy Joshi and His Excellency Shin Bongkil. He is much senior to me at the Foreign Ministry. And Professor Yong Park from Yonsei University. Distinguished participants and guests. Namaste. Namaste. It is a pleasure to be here today. And Chairperson Joshi mentioned, he welcomed me to home. Actually, New Delhi is my second hometown. I started my diplomatic career at New Delhi 30 years ago as a third secretary at the Korean embassy. And actually, I feel here home, not just because I served here in Delhi, but also my mother's family name is He, same name with Ayodhya princess. So I believe myself as a descendant of Indian princess. Well, before going into main contents of my remarks, I'd like to invite you to watch a short video clip. My staff actually prepared the video clip for this conference. Let's watch.
한반도의 평화 체제를 구축하는 담대한 여정을 시작하고자 합니다.
President Moon outlines his initiative for peace on the Korean Peninsula during his speech at the Korber Foundation in Berlin, Germany. In particular, he suggests that the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics could become an Olympics of peace, with the participation of North Korea.
첫째, 우리가 추구하는 것은 오직 평화입니다. 평화로운 한반도는 핵과 전쟁의 위협이 없는 한반도입니다. 남과 북이 서로를 인정하고 존중하며 함께 잘 사는 한반도입니다.
South and North Korea engage in high-level talks, and as a result, the Olympic delegations of the two Koreas march together in the Parade of Nations at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. Chairman Kim crosses the demarcation line at Panmunjom to hold the first inter-Korean summit in 11 years. In the morning, they hold the official summit. In the afternoon, the two leaders have a private conversation. In the evening, the two first ladies join a welcome dinner and a farewell ceremony. At the summit, the two leaders commit to ending the peninsula's long history of division and confrontation and to open a new era of reconciliation, peace, and prosperity.
오늘 김정은 위원장과 나는 완전한 대화를 통해 핵 없는 한반도를 실현하는 것이 우리의 공동 목표라는 것을 확인했습니다. 앞으로 완전한 비핵화를 위해 남과 북이 더욱 긴밀히 협력해 나갈 것을 분명히 밝힙니다.
President Moon meets President Trump on May 22nd, as well as Chairman Kim on May 26th, to smooth the way for this historic meeting to take place. Chairman Kim and President Trump meet for the first ever North Korea-US summit. However, President Moon said after his second meeting with Chairman Kim, the journey toward denuclearization and the establishment of a permanent peace on the Korean peninsula must not stop under any circumstances. So it is hoped that all will join in the efforts to embark on this road to peace and to succeed.
Well, so how's it? And these are actually indeed incredible moments that we should remember. Past the 7 decades of division and hostility between South and North Koreas since the Korean War have cast a dark shadow over inter-Korean relations that make it difficult to believe what is actually taking place before our very eyes. Recently, there have been a series of historic events between South and North Korea, and North Korea and the United States in hopes of doing away with the last remaining vestiges of the Cold War. Panmunjom Declaration and the Sentosa Agreement are all meaningful and important agreements. As much as the contents of these agreements, I believe that it was particularly meaningful that the leaders of South and North Korea and United States had the opportunity to sit together, to openly hold dialogue, and to start building trust. The success of Inter-Korean Summit on 27th April and the United States DPRK Summit on 12th June should be tributed to the courage and determination of the 3 leaders, President Moon, President Trump, and Chairman Kim, who dared to take a step forward toward dramatic change to break away from the outdated, routine, vicious cycle of mistrust and hostility. Since Moon's government launched in May last year, Moon's administration has consistently pursued policy on the Korean Peninsula with the strong belief in peaceful coexistence and co-prosperity of 2 Koreas, living on a peaceful peninsula which is free from the threat of nuclear weapons and war, and where the South and the North accept and respect each other. In cooperation with the international community, the IEWS government will exert utmost efforts to fully implement the agreement made South and North and the United States toward denuclearization and permanent peace settlement on the Korean Peninsula. The Korean Peninsula issue is not just a problem of 2 Koreas, nor our neighboring countries. Peace and prosperity of the Korean Peninsula will be a great victory for every one of us and a huge step toward the people all over the world who yearn for world peace. In this respect, I'd like to express deep gratitude on behalf of my government to the government of India for the official statements made welcoming the Inter-Korean Summit and the US DPRK Summit, as well as supporting my government policy toward North Korea. Though South Korea, along with the United States and North Korea, has made a historic breakthrough to make a fundamental change of the past 7 decades of hostility and instability, the road toward our final destination, which is denuclearization and the lasting peace mechanism on the peninsula, will not be an easy one, but a rocky one, facing many challenges. But we are very much determined in pursuing our peace policy and confident that we can achieve it with full support and concerted efforts from the whole international community. We believe dreams will come true eventually. Korea and India have a long history of exchanges from the ancient time through the Silk Road trade and the spread of Buddhism and so on, as Chairman Joshi and Ambassador Shin just mentioned. Many Koreans now are attracted by India. We call India Incredible India as an origin of Asian civilization, well as world civilization, and rank India as a must-visit country. Just 3 days ago, last Sunday, I myself participated in a big event organized by the Embassy of India in Seoul, celebrating the International Day of Yoga with thousands of Korean people who are practicing yoga. Not only through yoga, but in many ways, India is fascinating Korean people. As a global growth engine, India is also economically a very important partner to Korea. At the moment, more than 700 Korean companies are largely contributing to Prime Minister Modi's Make in India campaign. Moon's administration, focusing on India's international prestige and infinite potential of growth, declared the groundbreaking new Southern policy to extensively strengthen cooperation with its Southern partners, especially with India. With India, together, we would like to build a community for people where people, Korean people and Indian people are linked, and heart and hearts are connected. We would like to build a community for peace, which contribute to peace in Asia through security cooperation. And we also would like to build a community for co-prosperity through mutually beneficial economic cooperation. Also, we would like to visualize our dream for a dynamic future where both countries co-prosper by expanding cooperation to future-oriented fields such as the fourth industrial revolution. President Moon will soon visit India to share his vision on the co-prospering, people-centered, and peace community, and to find out, to envision that community with Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi, on his part, with the Act East policy, also values the relationship between the Republic of Korea and India regarding Korea as a good example of economic cooperation and development. When two Korea's visions for prosperity synergize, the relationship between two countries will be far much solidified for the full-fledged special strategic partnership. At the same time, that would be the core axis of leading peace and prosperity of Asia. However, still there remain weakness in the relationship as the two countries need a deeper understanding for each other. Thus, two countries have to further promote cultural and people-to-people exchanges, which will solidify friendship, laying the foundation of the cooperation at the grassroots level. By doing so, both Korea and India can build a sustainable future together on the basis of genuine understanding and heart-to-heart relationship. This is what the Korean government would like to achieve through our policy on public diplomacy. And this is the direction of the participants of both countries would like to seek today at our dialogue. Distinguished participants, history is a record of people who take action and rise to a challenge. As Indian proverb goes, help your brothers, quote, help your brothers boat across, and your own will reach the shore, unquote. My government just started a bold journey toward peace on the Korean Peninsula, and I ask for your strong support and participation toward that new journey. To make the path going forward from the sprouting peace from Korean Peninsula and to write a new chapter of history of peace and cooperation over the wars and conflicts, I ask for your wisdom and for support again. Both Chairman Joshi and Ambassador Shin quoted the poem of Tagore, great Indian and global world poet. I will not quote again, but I just want to say that many people around the world are waiting for India and Korea to lighten up the lamp of peace and prosperity together and illuminate the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Excellency Enna Park, for those enlightening words, giving us the background of the peace process and the leadership that made this possible, reversing 7 decades of hostility and mistrust, moving into a world where peace was possible, where countries could talk to each other, start building trust again. You have laid out, I think, a very good backdrop for the discussions which are going to follow, and of course, lead up to the visit of President Moon Jae-in, which is going to take place in July, to strengthen this partnership between India and Korea, which is both an economic partnership, a strategic partnership, and a partnership that connects hearts to hearts, minds to minds, for peace and prosperity of all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Professor Park. Thank you, Ambassador Bongkil.